وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد, we're supposed to have class of tafsir tonight. It's not far from tafsir, but inshallah ta'ala from Surah Ar Rum. Surah Ar Rum, I have two questions about this surah. I want every brother to go over it. If you have it, the Noble Quran, excellent. If not, at least you have your phone, you can use it. And two questions. First question, this surah, there is two main things Allah talks about in this surah. And He subhanahu wa ta'ala Azza wa Jal talked about in detail two main things. What are they? Second question, what's the proof that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to establish those two main things He mentioned in Surah Ar Rum? Surah Ar Rum, طبعا هي Surah number 30, Surah 30. It is between two surahs. What are they? Surah Al-Ankabut and Surah Al-Luqman. Ahsantu. Please check this surah, read, go over it, and then I give you 2-3 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes. Actually, you deserve 15 minutes because how many verses here? All the way to... Yeah, the surah is long, actually. It's longer than what I thought. It's 60 verses. Allahu Akbar. 6 verses. What are the two main matters that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in this surah? And what is the proof Allah Azza wa Jalla used to establish? Wallahi, this make me surprised. I never know what I came to know about it. Just as today, I never know about it before. The book of Allah is amazing. The Quran is amazing. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Surah Ar Rum, that's Surah 30, the verse 60. Again, what are two main matters, issues that Allah addressed in this surah? The biggest two main issues. And what proof Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to convince the deniers of those two issues? Anyone who have answered so far? Or we didn't finish yet? I understand. Finishing 60 verses is not easy. طيب, anyone? نعم حبيبي. You have an answer? Not yet. Okay. Verse 8. Okay, what is there? Yes. وَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا. Do they not think deeply? What do you mean? What are the two main issues? Naam. Barakallahu fiqh. Allah gives understand whoever He wishes. Remember, Subhanallah, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he's having a gathering of consultation or special gathering with the Muslims, he used to invite Ibn Abbas, who was very young. He was very young. Such a way, some of the companion of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, we have children, we have kids in our home, young boys. Why Umar is bringing Ibn Abbas in this gathering for the elders? And he wanted to show them why. And that Allah gave Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu ilm, knowledge, fiqh fi deen, understanding of the deen. And he asked them about إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. They mentioned. And then he asked Ibn Abbas. And Ibn Abbas mentioned something different than what they mentioned. And Umar said, that's what I know about the surah. So Ibn Abbas said, the surah, Allah tells the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam the sign of his death. The sign of his death. Which is a victory takes place and people enter Islam as groups. These two signs, if it happen, Ibn Abbas said, Allah is telling the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're going to die. Your departure, you live in this dunya. You should do so and so. Subhanallah. If you recite that جاء نصر الله والفضل, you don't see death. Allah mentioned death there. No mention in maut. But Ibn Abbas says it's a sign. If so and so happen, or the Messenger of Allah, you're going to pass away. You're dying. Your time finished. It's going to end. What are you required to do? Do so and so. So Allah gives the understand who He wills. طيب, anyone who has an answer? نعم يا نعم أبا ياسر. Two main things. Okay, Allah mentioned what happened to the previous nations and what happened to them when they disobey the Messenger of Allah and that Allah destroyed them. Yes, what else? Second thing Allah mentioned is great science, the creation of the heaven and the earth and the like. Jazakallahu khair. You mentioned something haq, truth, but those are not in my mind. The two issues are different. Yes, Abu Hamam. Okay. So Allah, you so far you mentioned two. I'm not accepting three. Two only. You mentioned that Allah mentioned at the beginning of the surah that the Romans will defeat their enemy within short period, within 10 years, less than 10 years. And also that Allah mentioned, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent down the rain. Yes, Allah, yes. Allah explained how the rain, how He created the rain, how the rain comes down, how it brings Allah's life to the earth. And yes, okay. Those two things are not in my mind. Last, barakallahu fikum. Tayyib, jazakumullahu khairan. Those two things is, Wallahu alam, number one, to establish the existence of a day of judgment. To establish the existence of the resurrection, life after death, day of judgment. Many ayat is about that. Many ayat is about that. including what Abu Yasir mentioned. Allah talk about the previous nations. When they disobeyed the message, Allah destroyed them. Yes. So that means this is a proof that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is truthful in mentioning that there is life after death. There is a day of resurrection. Because those who deny that, those who deny the messengers who were calling people to that, were destroyed by Allah. It's just the one. Also that Allah bring rain. And by the rain, Allah give the earth life. Revive and fruits and vegetables, everything comes out. This is about to establish life after death. And the proof is intellectual proof. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give life to the earth after the earth is dead. If Allah also mentioned in the surah, He created human. How He create? From different stages. From water. From until He take him away. Cause him to die. That Allah is able to resurrect them. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because He created them from nothing. And He make them go those stages. So this establishment of the Day of Judgment. And we will come to that in detail, inshallah. Second main point is establishment of Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, that none has a right to be worshipped but Allah. Many verses. That Allah has a right, no one has a right to be worshipped but Allah. And from the proof of that, again, intellectual proof Allah mentioned. If one of you, or those who worship others with Allah, if one of you have a slave, do you want your slave to share with you your property? You don't want. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Azza wa Jal, doesn't want that one of His servants, His slave, is to use his right with Him. You yourself, you are not accepting your slave to share with you your property. So the same way you're using it, He is using it. No one is going to accept. So how you make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so some of His creations, whether it's statue or angels or man, to share His right, subhanahu wa ta'ala, of worship. Allah doesn't like that. So these two main things, again, what are they? The establishment of the life after death, resurrection, reckoning, reward. And the second thing is the Tawheed al-Ibadah, establishment of the Tawheed al-Ibadah, that none has a right to be worshipped but Allah. And Allah used both, subhanahu wa ta'ala, for something that people can understand. Okay, now let us go over the surah. Allah said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم وغلبت الروم في أدنى الأرض وهم من بعد غلبهم سيغلبون في بضع سنين. Allah mentioned in those verses, subhanahu, He mentioned that the Romans were defeated by their enemy, which were the Persians. Allah mentioned that the Romans will defeat their enemy, who were the Persians, within bid'ah sinin. It's between 3 years to 9 years. Within that, the Roman Empire will defeat the Persian Empire. This is about the future. And it happened as Allah mentioned it. So this is a proof that there is a life after death. Because Allah mentioned that in Quran. The Messenger mentioned that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's something about the future. Something other than that, something also about future, that this empire, this government will destroy the other government within that period. If Allah is truthful in that, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is also truthful in the longer future. Okay. Then Allah said, لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ. The affairs, the matters belongs to Allah alone, before that and after that. وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And on that day, the day which the Romans will defeat the Persians, what is going to happen? Another incident. Many Muslims don't know this. Some ulama of tafsir, they don't mention it, but some of them mention it, and it is authentic. It is on that day the believers will rejoice. Will rejoice. The Shaykh here said at the victory given by Allah to the Romans against the Persians. Some ulama they say no. Is the victory that Allah gave the Muslims, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his followers, Sahaba, against their enemy, Mushrikeen, Abu Jahl, and the like, because it is the same day the Battle of Badr took place. It's the same day the Battle of Badr took place. And Allah said, بِنَصْرِ اللَّهِ يَنْصُرُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. With the help of Allah. Allah helps whom He wills. This is more suitable, Allah, to talk about a victory of Muslims over their enemy, Mushrikeen, than talking about two disbelievers fighting. What the end of the ayah? Allah said, وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. And Allah, He is the Almighty, the most merciful. Al-Aziz al-Rahim. Allah used these two names in many ayat in Quran, especially in Surah Ar when He talk about that the messengers of Allah, Allah gave them the victory, Al-Aziz. That Allah destroyed the enemy of the messengers of Allah. Allah is Al-Aziz, the Almighty, the powerful. Ar-Rahim, the most gracious, merciful to the believers. Read Surah Shu'ara. Every ayah Allah talk about a messenger, his enemy, Prophet Nuh, his enemy, Allah destroyed them. And Allah give victory to Prophet, and Allah saved Prophet Nuh and the believers. Allah said, was the end of the ayah? What was the end of the ayah? Yes, the end of Shu'ara. Ayah comes a lot. Yes. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ. Every time Allah mentioned the victory He gave to one of His prophets, the defeat to one of His enemy, Allah mentioned. Here also Allah said, وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. So Wallahu Alam is more close to talk about the victory Allah gave to the believers in the Battle of Badr over then any mushrikeen. Then Allah said, وعد الله, promise of Allah. وعد هذا ماذا مضاف فيعم. The promise of Allah, it's general. Where is the existence of a day of resurrection, or whether it's the victory that Allah is going to give to the believers. لا يخلف الله وعده. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fails not in His promise. Allah doesn't break His promise. ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلم. But most of man do not know that. Then what Allah said, يعلمون ظاهرا من الحياة الدنيا. They know only the outside appearance of the life of the world. وهم عن الآخرة مغافلون. And they are heedless of the hereafter. The verse is about what? About akhirah, about establishing akhirah. Then what Allah said, أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Do they not think deeply what about themselves? How Allah created them from nothing, and similarly He will resurrect them. So the ayah is about proof for the establishment of the day of judgment. أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. How many of you used to recite this ayah? Did you ever think about أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ is establishment for the day of judgment? Have you asked that ever come to mind? No. So أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Do they not think deeply about themselves? You yourself, you are nothing. Then Allah created you in stages. First from sand, Prophet Adam, sand and water. Then we from a water. Then turn to be a blood. Then turn to be a flesh. Then turn to be a soul. Put in a soul. And then grow up baby all until Allah mentioned the end of the surah. الله الذي خلقكم من ضعف ثم جعل بعد قوة ضعفا. الله الذي جعلكم من ضعف. It will come. Allah created from weakness. Then He make you strong. Then He turn you to be weakness and the like. Then Allah said, ما خلق الله السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إلا بالحق. Allah has not created the heaven and the earth and all that's between them except with truth. What does that mean? This is establishment for the day of judgment. You understand? Allah didn't create the heaven and the earth and all that between them except with truth. Yes? وَأَجَلٍ مُسَمًّى. That's another proof. So Allah didn't create the heaven and the earth without a purpose. Allah created for a purpose. So saying there's no day of judgment, it means Allah created with a purpose. Okay. وَأَجَلٍ مُسَمًّى. And also is ajal musamman, and for an appointed term. That's when the day of judgment is taking place. Allah said, وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّهِمْ لَكَافِرُونَ. Look now. And many of mankind denied the meeting with their Lord. So all those verses were about establishing the day of judgment. You see? Then Allah said, أَوَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَيَنْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Did they not travel in the land and see what was the end of those before them? كَانُوا أَشَدَّ مِنْهُمْ قُوَّةً وَأَثَارُوا الْأَرْضَ وَعَمَرُوهَا أَكْثَرَ مِمَّا عَمَرُوهَا. They were superior to them in strength. They were much stronger than the Quraysh. They tilled the earth and populated it in a greater number than these means pagans have done. وَجَاءَتْهُمْ رُسُولٌ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. Their messenger came to them with clear proofs. فَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَظْلِمَهُمْ وَلَكِنْ كَانُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ. Surely Allah wronged them not, but they used to wrong themselves. ثُمَّ كَانَ عَاقِبَةَ الَّذِينَ أَسَاءُوا السُّوءَ أَنْ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَكَانُوا بِهَا يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ. So they have bad ending because they disbelieved those messengers. Means, O Quraysh, if you disbelieve, O Mushrikeen, if you deny the message of Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of the existence of life after death, of the Tawheed of Allah, and the rest of what He's calling you to, take example from those before you, who deny the messengers who call to them the same thing the Messenger Muhammad is calling to you. Allah destroyed them. You will be destroyed. And that Allah destroyed them when they denied the message of those messengers is a proof that what the messengers are saying about Allah, whether it's in the world life victory or in the hereafter, is truth. Then Allah said, Allahu yabda'u al-khalqa thumma yu'idu thumma ilayhi turja'un. Allah alone originates the creation. Then He will repeat it. Then to Him you will be returned. This affirmation of what? Day of judgment. Then Allah said, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ يُبْلِسُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. And on the day when the hour will be established, the mujrimun will be plunged into destruction with despair. So now they're established of the day of judgment. Allah said, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُم مِّن شُرَكَائِهِمْ شُفَعَاءُ وَكَانُوا بِشُرَكَائِهِمْ كَافِرِينَ. This is the next point now. No intercessors will they have from those whom they made equal with Allah. No intercessors will they have from those who they made equal with Allah. And they themselves reject and deny their partners. In this verse, Allah mentions, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the mushrikeen will not have intercessors on the day of judgment. On that day, they will not have intercessors. And they will deny, they will free themselves. The idol worshippers, they will free themselves from those they used to worship. And those they used to worship also will free themselves from those who used to worship them. إِذْ تَبَرَّأَ الَّذِينَ اتُّبِعُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا وَرَأَوُا الْعَذَابَ وَتَقَطَّعَتْ بِهِمُ الْأَسْبَابُ. So now, here Allah said, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُم مِّن شُرَكَائِهِمْ. No intercessors will they have from those whom they make equal with Allah. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُم مِّن شُرَكَائِهِمْ شُفَعَاءُ. They will not have shufa'a, intercessors. This is what Quraysh used to claim. Quraysh used to believe, affirm Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the Lordship of Allah. Who created the universe? Allah. Who controls all matters? Allah. Who gives life, causes death? Allah. Who is the owner of everything? Allah. Never they said anyone other than Allah. This is called Tawheed of Lordship. Okay? And they used to worship Allah. Quraysh used to worship Allah. Yes? How you? Yes, they used to worship Allah. Give one example that they used to worship Allah. Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, the enemy of the Messenger ﷺ, idol worshippers, that they used to worship Allah. What's the proof? Some Muslims don't believe that. Yes? أحسنت. اللهم إن كان هذا هو الحق من عندك فأمطر علينا حجارة من السماء أو ائتنا بعذاب أليم. Before the battle of Badr took place, Abu Jahl, he made dua. He said, "Oh Allah, if this is truth from you," he mean what Messenger Muhammad is calling. If it's true from you, "Oh Allah, destroy us, send stones to us." This is how, subhanAllah, they كانوا مغرورون. They were very deceptive. They were thinking they are upon the way of Allah. Just like Christians today. They think they are those who are on the path of Allah. Subhanallah. قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. So don't think that those disbelievers, Christians and mushrikeen, idol worshippers, and those who follow them of praying to other than Allah, don't think that they believe they're wrong. They think they are upon haqq. And Muslims are those who deviated. But the truth will come. So these people, so mushrikeen, they used to worship Allah. Not only they believe Allah is Lordship, but also they used to worship Allah. From that what Allah mentioned, فَإِذَا رَكِبُوا فِي الْفُلْكِ دَعَوُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. If they embark on the ship, means difficult come to them, they call only Allah. Single out Allah in worship, in the religion. Single out Allah in the religion. They only pray to Allah in that difficult situation. This is ibadah. This is not ibadah. It's ibadah with ikhlas. It's an act of worship with sincerity. Allah said that, akhi. دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين. They call Allah. Calling Allah, is it an act of worship or not? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, الدعاء هو العبادة. The dua, supplication, invocation, it is the worship. Means it's the worship. Like Al-Hajj Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. Okay. So they worship Allah. They used to make Hajj. Used to make Hajj for who? They used to make Umrah. They built the Kaaba. They didn't believe Kaaba belongs to the idols. They believe the Kaaba for Allah. They believe the Kaaba is for who? House of Allah. That's what they used to believe. Yes? وَلِلْبَيْتِ رَبُّ يَحْمِيهِ. That's what Abdul Muttalib said, the grandfather Prophet ﷺ, when Abraha, the Abyssinian leader, who used to control Yemen, he went to Mecca to destroy the house of Allah, and the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ confronted him. He said, the house have a Lord who will protect it. I need my camel. Give me my camel. And that's what happened. When they tried to destroy the Kaaba, Allah sent to them what? Birds carrying stones and destroyed them. All of them with their elephant. That's the same year Prophet Muhammad ﷺ born. So, yes, they used to worship Allah. They used to make talbiyah for Allah. لبيك اللهم لبيك. Sahih Muslim. Oh Allah, we answer to you, we answer to. What's لبيك? We are at your service, at your service. We answer your call, we answer your call. Ya Allah. Not, oh angel, oh Lata, oh Uzza, oh Manata. They were not used to say. They used to say what? لبيك اللهم لبيك. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إلا شريكا هو لك. Oh Allah, you don't have a partner except one تملكه, you own him. Except one هو لك, it is for you. You have only one partner, it is for you. تملكه, you own him. وما ملك, he doesn't own anything. Other than that, you don't have a partner. You have only one, it's your slave. It is you who own him. It belongs to you. And he has nothing in hand. This is what they used to say. This is Sahih Muslim. How you say they don't worship Allah? Labbaik Allahumma labbaik is not worshiping Allah. It's worshiping Allah. So they used to believe Allah is Lordship. And they used to worship Allah. And they used to worship Allah alone in the difficulty, in the hardship. Ikhlas, La ilaha illallah, in the hardship. Allah mentioned that. قل أرأيتكم إن أتاكم عذاب الله أو أتتكم الساعة أغير الله تدعون إن كنتم صادقين بل إياه تدعون. You only call Allah when hardship happened to you. Only Allah. Now you hear those who say they're Muslims, لا إله إلا محمد رسول الله, يا علي, يا حسين, يا جيلاني, يا تيجاني, يا فاطمة, يا فلان, يا فلان. Quraysh were not used to do that. The enemy of the Messenger ﷺ, they were not calling other than Allah in the hardship. Why they rejected La ilaha illallah then? Brother Muawiyah, why they rejected La ilaha illallah? I have Muawiyah, I have Abu Muawiyah, whoever answers. Why they rejected La ilaha illallah? They rejected La ilaha illallah because La ilaha illallah means when you are in hardship and when you are in the east, in both situations, call only Allah. Worship only Allah. And they were doing worshiping only Allah, only in the hardship. In the east, they worship other than Allah. The same ayah Allah mentioned. فإذا ركبوا في الفلك دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين فلما نجاهم إلى البر إذا هم يشركون. So in the hardship, they call only Allah, pray only Allah, their heart only to Allah. But in the east, إذا هم يشركون, behold, they fell into shirk. So that's why Prophet ﷺ fight them. That's why they rejected La ilaha illallah. Here you have a group of people who say La ilaha illallah. And in both situations, in hardship, in the difficult, they call other than Allah. Who is more worst? And we have to be just, we have to be fair. Munsifin. Someone, when he's in hardship, he only call Allah. He never call other than Allah. But the problem he has is, in the east, he call other than Allah. And someone who in both situations call other than Allah, who is more worst? The second or the first or the later? The later, the second one. The religious nationalism is al-adl. In the hardship, mushrikeen call only Allah. Allah mentioned that. In the east, they call other than Allah. So now you know, lordship only for Allah. Worshiping only Allah in the difficulty. Now, worshiping other than Allah in the east. Worshipping other than Allah in the east. Why? Of course, in the east, sometimes they used to worship only Allah too. And sometimes they used to worship, they used to worship someone with Allah. The question is why, when they were worshiping other than Allah, why were they worshiping them? Yeah, why? If they say in Allah is the controller of life, He's the one who created us, He's the one who gives us life, He's the one who brings rain, everything is from Him, why they calling other than Him? They were saying, هؤلاء شفعاؤنا عند Allah. These are our intercessors with Allah. They're close to Allah than us. They are closer to Allah than us. So instead, we going straight to Allah and asking Allah, they say they rather go to those beside Allah, whether they are Prophet Isa or Prophet Ibrahim, Ismail, or whether they are the angels, whether they are the saints, whether they worship in a form of their own form or in the form of another or image or a statue, doesn't matter. They were saying they calling them to get them closer to Allah, means to convey their message and their need to Allah. This is Shafi, intercessor. That's what Allah rejected here. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُم مِّن شُرَكَائِهِمْ شُفَعَاء. no intercessor will they have from those whom they made equal with Allah. So now the one who's saying Ali, Fatima, Hussein, Jailani, Tijani, why? Ask them, do they control the universe? He say, no. Why are you calling him? Why are you calling Ali? He's one of two. Either he tell you which is the worst. Quraysh never think about that. They tell you Allah gave the Ali what we are asking him. Sheikh Jailani is the controller of the earth. This is what they believe. And some of them, they say, no, he doesn't control. We calling him, actually, the reason we call him is to ask Allah on behalf of us. He doesn't own it. It's to Allah. And this is the aqidah of who? The aqidah of Quraysh. This is what shafa'a means, seeking intercession. So, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَفَرَّقُونَ, verse 14, and on the day when the hour will be established, that day shall, means all men be separated. And the believers will be separated from the disbelievers. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَهُمْ فِي رَوْضَةٍ يُحْبَرُونَ. As for the believers, they will be in rawda, luxurious life, honor will have. As for the disbelievers, وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا وَلِقَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ. And as for those who disbelieve and belie our ayat, and they also deny what? And the meeting of the hereafter. So this ayah also is about what? يوم القيامة. طيب. Then Allah said, فسبحان الله حين تمسون وحين تصبحون وله الحمد في السماوات والأرض وعشيا وحين تظهرون. Allahu Akbar. So glorify Allah when you come up to the evening. And so glorify Allah above all that evil they associate with Him. Our believers, when you come up to the evening, after the Maghrib, sunset, and Isha, night prayer, and when you enter into the morning, after the Fajr morning prayer, and وَلَهُ الْحَمْدُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَعَلَى His are all the praise and thanks in the heaven and the earth, and glorify Him in the afternoon, after Asr prayer, and when you come up to the time when the day begins to decline after Dhuhr prayer. Ibn Abbas said these are the 5 compulsory congregational prayers mentioned in the Quran. فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ حِينَ تُمْسُونَ is Asr prayer. وَحِينَ تُصْبِحُونَ is Fajr prayer. وَلَهُ الْحَمْدُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَعَشِيًّا. عَشِيًّا is Maghrib and Isha. وَحِينَ تُظْهِرُونَ is Dhuhr prayer. All 5 prayers are mentioned in this. Means pray those 5 times. Then what Allah said, verse 19, يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي ويحيي الأرض بعد موتها وكذلك تخرجون. He brings out the living from the dead and brings out the dead from the living. And He revives the earth after its death, and thus shall you be brought out, resurrected. What the ayah is about? The day of resurrection. Then Allah said, وَمِنْ آيَاتٍ خَلَقَكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ إِذَا أَنْتُمْ بَشَرٌ تَنْتَشِرُونَ. Among His signs is this, that He created you, O man, from dust. And then, means Hawa, Eve from Adam. And then his offspring from the semen. And behold, are human being scattered. You are a human being scattered. Means Allah created you, subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the sand. And now you are a human being, talking, understanding, laughing, crying, happy, unhappy, consisting of bones, blood, veins. What that has to do with the sand? What that has to do with the origin? Allah created from the sand. That sand turned to be a situation to become a human being, talking, understanding. That Allah is able to give you life again after you die. Especially that's what He does always to the earth. Earth, trees dies, no crops, nothing comes out. Allah brings rain. After 2 days, 3 days, flies everywhere, flowers, everything changed. This is the example. وَكَذَلِكَ تُخْرَجُونَ. Likewise, you will be resurrected. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in verse 21, all is about the day of judgment. All the way to is about the day of judgment. I have a question here. All this is about the day of judgment. Until verse 27, who can tell me وهو الذي يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده, and it's he who originated the creation, then he will repeat it after it has been perished. وهو أهون عليه, and this is easier for him. I mean, it's to your mind, oh human, Allah created you from nothing. He make you into existence from nothing. To create from nothing and to recreate something which was already created, which one is easier for the human mind? Yes? To create something, you want to make something, you plan, you want to make these things, wasn't existed. Is that easier or something you already created but demolished to do it again? Yes. So then Allah said, وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. I have a question. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. There is nothing comparable into Him. فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, in the heaven and the earth. That part of the verse. Is it showing a day of judgment? وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Now, his is the highest description. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. His is the highest description. His is the highest. Allah has the highest and the best description in the heaven and the earth. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ, and He's the Almighty, the All-Wise. Is this part of the verse shows a resurrection? Establishment of the day of judgment? If you don't believe, say no. Let me repeat it. That has nothing to do with that, right? That's Brother Shamsuddin is brave. He said it has nothing to do with. I prove to you it has something to do with. Yes, Allah said, وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. His is the highest description in the heaven and the earth. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And He, Allah, is Al-Aziz Al-Hakim, the Almighty, the All-Wise. Okay. If you remember verse in Surah Al-Nahl, you connect it to it, you understand. In Surah Al-Nahl, they deny there's life after death. Allah answered to them. Allah said, لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ مَثَلُ السَّوْءِ. لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ مَثَلُ السَّوْءِ. Those who don't believe Akhirah, they have that example. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Allah has the highest description. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. The same ayah. Those who disbelieve hereafter, لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ. Those who don't believe Akhirah, مَثَلُ السَّوْءِ. They have bad example. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. To Him, Allah alone, the highest description. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. What does that mean? Means saying there is no day of judgment. Saying there is no day of judgment. There is no resurrection. Allah created the human, which the mushrikeen they were believing. Allah is the creator of the human. But they deny in day of judgment, there is no day of judgment. You know what does that mean? Allah created a human being, they oppress one another. This one, he killed this one, he raped this one, he beat this one, and they die, and no resurrection. Is that good? Subhanallah. Yes? Injustice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the human, He makes some of them strong, He some of them weak. Allah created the sheep, one of has horns, one of has no horns. The one with horn, it hit the one with no horn. If there is no day of judgment, that means Allah makes someone strong, killing, destroying, doing whatever, and then he's free. Is that a good example? لا. للذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة. Those who don't believe آخرة. مثل سوء. They have what? Yes? Yes. Bad example. They have bad description. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. To Allah alone, the highest description, the best description. Allah doesn't leave subhanahu wa ta'ala His creation to oppress one another and not establish a day of judgment. تعالوا عن ذلك علوا كبيرا. Imagine a judge here, two people are there, the criminal and the one who was wrong, and the judge doesn't punish any one of them. You both doing okay. Would that judge wise? Or he punish both of them? Is that judge wise? No. He has to punish the one who deserves the punishment. Okay. Then Allah said, وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. This part now, Al-Aziz Al-Hakim. Allah is the Almighty, Aziz is the power. And Al-Hakim is the all-wise. Even that two words, it shows the day of judgment. How? Because the mushrikeen, they say there's no day of judgment. Why? They say, how is it possible after we pass away, we decay, we turn to be sand, Allah to create us? So now they deny the power of who? Power of Allah. Allah is answering Al-Aziz. Allah is powerful. He is able. And also, there's no day of judgment, means oppressors, they oppress whoever they want, they destroy millions of people, and they go on their way. Some people, they jump to the house of a man with his wife, with his kids. In the middle of the night, they rape the woman in front of her husband. They kill his children one after another. Then they kill him in a very... How is that possible? Allah to leave those not to revenge for them. تعالى الله عن ذلك علوا كبيرا. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لَتُؤَدُّنَّ الْحُقُوقَ إِلَى أَهْلِهَا حَتَّى يُقَادَ لِلشَّاةِ الْجَلْحَاءِ مِنَ الشَّاةِ الْقَرْنَاءِ. Wallahi, you're going to give to those who deserve the right until the sheep with no horn is revenged for it from the one with horn. So a sheep with long horn, it fight with the one that doesn't have horn like the human head. And it kill, it hit, this bleeding, it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't have hand. It tries to protect herself with her head. And this one is using sharp horns. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala will establish justice between them on the day of judgment. What do you think about a human being? Some Muslims, disbeliever, they take whatever he has it. Doesn't matter. Ya akhi, disbeliever, non-believer, everyone's right is protected. So, Allah will give everyone his justice. يا عبادي إني حرمت الظلم على نفسي وجعلت بينكم محرما فلا تظالموا. Oh my slaves, I made oppression wrong, forbade myself to oppress, and I made it between you haram. Don't oppress one another. Ya ibadi. Allah address believers. Ya ibadi. Oh my slaves. Allah in this hadith al-Qudsi, Allah address believers? No, all human beings. So in this ayah, the establishment of the day of judgment. And then now from verse 28, now start the Tawheed. Establishing the Tawheed al-Ibadah from verse 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. All the way 40, past 40. All the way to 42. قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَانْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلُ كَانَ أَكْثَرُ مُشْرِكِينَ. A benefit here. Say, O the Mustafa Muhammad, travel in the land and see what was the end of those before you. Most of them were mushrikeen. Those before you, O Quraysh, most of them were what? Atheists. They were atheists. What were they? Mushrikeen. What does that mean? Were they believing in Allah or they were not believing in Allah? They were believing in Allah. Were they worshiping Allah or they were not worshiping Allah? They were worshiping Allah. They were worshiping Allah. That's what mushrik is. Then what Allah said, verse 43, فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ الْقَيِّمِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ يَوْمٌ لَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ مِنَ اللَّهِ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصَّدَّعُونَ. The 2 points now. So set you, O the Messenger of Allah Muhammad, your face to the straight and right religion. Before there comes from Allah a day which none can avert. On that day man shall be divided, a group in paradise and a group in hell. We ask Allah Al-Karim to make us among those who go to paradise. Please continue to read the whole surah. To the end is about these 2 issues. One ayah before I leave, one ayah before I conclude. The ayah which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used intellectual proof, something people can understand, that worshiping other than Allah is not right. Verse 28. Allah said, ضَرَبَ لَكُمْ مَثَلًا مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Here Allah set forth for you a parable from your own selves. هل لكم مما ملكت أيمانكم من شركاء فيما رزقناكم فأنتم فيه سواء تخافونهم كخيفتكم أنفسكم. Do you have partners among those whom your right hand possess, your slaves, to share as equals in the wealth we have bestowed on you, whom you fear as you fear each other? Means those who worship others with Allah and humbling themselves to other than Allah, praying to other than Allah, having hope their answer, relying on them. This is because this is what they do and what they call other than Allah. When they call Ali, Ya Hussein, Ya Fatima, number 1, they have hope in Ali. They rely on Ali to answer whatever they want, to achieve, to help them achieve whatever they want. So think about yourself. You have a slave. Do you want your slave share with you your wealth? And the same way you use it, he uses it. Also, he uses it. Is anyone accepting that? Your employee. We don't have a slave now. Your employee. Do you want your employee to use the office, to use the company the same way as you? You don't want. He has a limit. You bring a service person work at your house or your office. You want him to use all your property the way you use it? No. If this is the case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how are you worshipping someone with Allah who is a slave of Allah? Whether it's a statue, image, wood, rocks, stones, pictures, or whether it is a man, or whether it is an angel, whether it is a bird, all are creation of Allah like you. وَالَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ عِبَادٌ أَمْثَالُكُم. Those you call beside Allah are slaves like you. So you're given the right of Allah of love, of reliance, of praise, of thanking to other than Allah, while nothing comes from other than Allah whatsoever. And you affirm that. You're saying Allah is the control of affairs. He's the owner of affairs. O mushrikeen. Yet you worship other than Allah. Subhanallah. The same thing Quraysh were being said is being addressed anyone who call today other than Allah. Even if you say millions of times La ilaha illallah. Because La ilaha illallah has meaning. There is no true God but Allah. Divine godness is for Allah. Worship is for Allah. If someone call other than Allah today, Prophet Muhammad, Ya Rasulullah, or the Messenger of Allah, aid, Quraysh were doing the same thing. They were calling Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail. They make their pictures inside the Kaaba. Of course, making a picture doesn't change anything. Some people think, Ya akhi, if you call, for instance, Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, oh Ali, ask Allah for me such and such, oh Ali, give me hand. They say, this is not shirk. But if you make image for Ali, Here is the shirk. Even though now some of them make image for Ali. Do you know that? Wallahi, they make image for Ali. You can go Google Ali's idol. Image for Ali, for Ja'far, for Fulan. They make it. But even if they wouldn't make it, no difference between somebody to say, oh Jesus, he called you, or he go to the cross and he called, oh Jesus. No difference. Either way, the person is calling other than Allah. And the point is to seek intercession. And that intercession is not taking place at all. Allah mentioned more than one ayah that intercession is not going to happen because there is two conditions. One condition is, yes? There's no intercession. They will not, the intercession they're asking, they will not get. Why not? Someone now, he says, Ya Ali, he will not get the intercession of Ali. Why not? Yes? Number one, Ali radiallahu anhu cannot ask Allah anything. Unless Allah is one who subhanahu wa ta'ala initiate and order Ali to ask his shafa'a, intercession. Nobody can ask. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه ما من شفيع إلا من بعد إذنه ولا يشفعون إلا من بعد إذنه. Nobody can ask Allah on behalf of someone without Allah giving permission. I want to ask. So no, it's useless. It's useless. ولله المثل الأعلى. If one of you says, أخونا أبو معاوية, he says to, ولله المثل الأعلى, just to understand, he says to أخونا أبو ياسر, Abu Yasir, don't ask me anything for anybody. If I want to give someone to something, I will appoint you to ask me on behalf of that one, to honor you, and to have mercy on the other one. And then someone go to Abu Muawiyah and ask Abu Muawiyah, or go to Abu Yasir, Abu Yasir, can you talk to Abu Muawiyah? What Abu Yasir will say? I've been informed by Abu Muawiyah already. I cannot ask him anything. He told me I can't ask him anything. Akhi, go and ask. Go ask. I need intercession. He told me I can't talk to him. I cannot ask him anything. If he wants intercession for you, he will talk to me. That's the meaning of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shafa'ah, He accepted the intercession of someone. Allah is honoring that one to show the status of that one. And second, Allah is mercying the second one, the other one. So all the shafa'a is from who? From Allah. قُلْ لِلَّهِ شَفَاعَةُ جَمِيعًا. Therefore, Allah blamed those idol worshippers in one thing. أَمِ اتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ شُفَعَاء. What that mean? Do they take besides Allah intercessors? Means they took it. They took it instead of Allah giving them, making it for them. This is the issue. So now those you calling other than Allah, you say they make shafa'ah for me. They can't. They are unable to do that. So you asking them is useless. That's even if they could hear you. Even if that they could hear. Do they hear you? Now somebody called Ali, Hussein, Fatima, the messenger Muhammad, messenger Muhammad, does he hear them? He doesn't hear them. He's not aware of them. Have no doubt. It's in the Quran. يوم يجمع الله الرسل. Allah, the day Allah will gather the messengers. فيقول ماذا أجبتم? What will you respond to? People accept your call or not? What will they say? لا علم لنا. We don't know Allah. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will be in his lake, and he will see some people he knows them in this dunya. He will be very happy to welcome them. They will be taken to the hellfire. What will he say? Ashabi, ashabi, my companion, my companion. Of course, we know there are some people who left Islam after the pass of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What will be said? إنك لا تدري ما أحدثوا بعد. You don't know what they invented after you. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. You don't know what they did after you. He will say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَسُحْقًا سُحْقًا لِمَنْ بَدَّلَ بَعْدِي. May Allah make him fire, means in hellfire. Whoever changed after me. He didn't know, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those he know them in this dunya, he know them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what they did after him. How does he aware of us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? We after 1,000 years and more. So even if it would have been assumed that those you call him beside Allah, angels or saints, they hear you, they cannot make intercession for you. They don't have hadith salahiyah. I'm sorry I take too much of your time, but this topic is very important because without having the tawheed al-ibadah, the prayer, the fasting, the hajj disappears. No benefit, useless. Keep on repeating la ilaha hundreds of times. If you commit in shirk, it will go away. We seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all evil. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sallam.